entertainment. Brian Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority. 105.9 FM and AM 630. WMAL.
7:37 on the Morning Majority. You know, I know of no greater American than Lieutenant General Tom McINERNey, a guy who flew 4,100 hours as an Air Force pilot, 407 combat missions, retired from the Air Force as a Lieutenant General, now as a contributor on Fox News, and he serves on something known as the Iran Policy Committee. I want to talk to him about that because so much is going on with Iran, and one of the things we need to know is, could the U.S. or could Israel take out Iran's nuclear program if it decided that was what should be done? Lieutenant General Tom McINERNey is on the phone now. Hi, Lieutenant General McINERNey. How are you?
Good morning, Brian. How are you today?
It's good to hear your voice, my friend. Look, a lot of people are looking right now and saying, look, there's a lot going on. I mean, Iran's sending warships into the Mediterranean. High-ranking team of nuclear inspectors are in Iran right now. Iran says it's going to stop oil shipments to France and Britain. Israelis are very concerned about the continuing development of Iran's nuclear program. If it came down to it, do we have what we need to take out, or does Israel have what they need to take out Iran's nuclear program?
Simply stated, yes, the United States does have that capability. The degree of takeout, you don't have to take out 100%, but the U.S. clearly has that capability with our bunker buster bombs. We've got the large one called the Massive Ordnance Penetrator 30,000-pound bomb. 2 can be dropped from a B-2. The real question, I think, is, can the Israelis do it? I do believe the Israelis have the capability to delay 1 to 3 years, and frankly, that may be enough. The danger they are facing, because it is an existential threat to Israel, I believe they are in the zone of immunity, which means the new Fordow complex is so deep and so hardened, where they're now starting to enrich, and we think going from 20 to 90%, which is bomb-grade material, that will make it very, very difficult, and I think that's why they are looking at that window that Secretary Panetta talked about on April, May, and June of having to attack.
All right, I want to talk to you about Israel in a moment, but first, the U.S., this MOP, this Massive Ordnance Penetrator, because some of the reading that I've done on it after some testing suggests that it didn't quite do what it needed to do. What has happened since? What can you tell us about that?
Well, let me just say they are making improvements to make it even more effective with accuracy and this type thing. Is it perfect yet? No, but they are making those improvements, which are not difficult improvements, is all I want to say, Brian. It's in software on accuracy, and that is ongoing right now. So I'm confident that with those weapons, the Massive Ordnance Penetrator, and there's another one called the GBU-31,
right,
which is a 2,000-pound bunker buster, which the Israelis would probably use. But we have enough of those to get the penetration we need, plus other means. It's going to be more than just air. I think you'll probably see special operations. You'll see submarines, etc. So this combination, I think clearly from the United States, is more than enough.
Well, obviously the most important thing is, do you have the right targets? I mean, that's the big question. Do you think we have enough intelligence on the ground to know exactly where we should be aiming those bombs?
Brian, great question. There's no question that we probably should assume we don't have perfect intelligence. We do know about Fordow. We do know about this other facility that the IAEA today is going to try to get into, called Parchin, up near Tehran. But there obviously are some that we are not aware of. But I think on balance of what we have to do, that we do have the right intelligence.
Okay, let me ask you this then. What is this the best way to go about doing this? Is there another way, or is this basically everybody's backs against the wall, there's no other choice but to do it in this fashion?
Well, in my opinion, our backs are against the wall. Sanctions have failed. Diplomacy has failed. They look at this administration, President Obama, as a weak president. He made every overture he could from the time he came in till today to negotiate. And all along, this has failed. All it has done. Let's remember, we're dealing with Iranian rug merchants that really know how to negotiate, and they're stalling us. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think that the Israeli term, zone of immunity, that we, in fact, are in that zone and that something has to be done. There'll be many others that will say differently. My personal opinion is now is the time, and they better do it, because after November, we're going to go into more than a zone of immunity for Israel. It will be the existential threat, and the next 4 years they will not survive as a nation.
All right, so a lot of people say it could happen May, could happen June. Some people think that the Israelis it could happen any day with Israel. What is your sense of that?
Well, I think that window is fairly good, and that has to do with the weather. As we come into March, the weather, remember when we started Operation Iraqi Freedom, and that's when the weather is getting better. That concerns the Israelis a great deal weather-wise. As far as the United States goes, the weather is not nearly the concern because we have so many precision weapons, and our air crews are just far more qualified than the weather. If we talk about the Israeli challenge today, that's the distance that they have to go 1,000 miles to some of those targets. I believe that the Saudis are going to be very friendly on airspace overflight. Clearly, Iraq has no air defense since we came out, so the whole Iraqi airspace is open to them. And with the destabilizing conflict going on in Syria, it's probably clearly the best time for the Israelis to do it, because Egypt is in disarray, Syria is in disarray. The Saudis clearly would like to see the Israelis do it. They are greatly in fear of this Shia cloud that sweeps across the Arabian Peninsula, as you've talked about before. So the conditions political as they go around are, I think, the best form. Now, let me say something, and I'm going to go out. I do not believe that the Iranians will close the Straits of Hormuz, because once they close the Straits of Hormuz, the United States comes in. One of the main objectives of the Iranians when they defend themselves is not to bring the United States in. They cannot handle that. So I think you'll see that the Straits of Hormuz will stay open. You may see some terrorist attacks in the region against the United States, but that would come from Hezbollah or Hamas or Al-Qaeda or others like that. But it will not be directly linked to Iran.
Well, General Tom McINERNEY, it is always a pleasure to get your expertise and your insight. It's good hearing your voice again, sir.
Thanks, Brian and Brian. Appreciate it.
All right, talk to you.